Mathematics in Kalasalingam Academy of Research and Education, Srivilliputturu. She has 5 years of working experience in various institutions, published 10 papers in Scopus and SEA Index journals, won Best Paper Award in international conferences. She is currently working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Information Technology at Francis Xavier Engineering College, Tirunelveli. Her area of interest includes cryptography and network security, artificial intelligence, and so on. She is an active member of Antiviral Research Society and resource person for various seminars and conferences. We welcome you, ma'am. You may proceed with the session now.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the short and sweet introduction about me. Yeah, good morning, all. Can you hear my voice, right?
Yes,
Shall I
ma'am.
start the session?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So good morning to one and all present here. I welcome you all for this day 2 session for this AACT ATAL online FDP on cyber security. I thank the session coordinator, Dr. Tino ma'am, for giving me the opportunity to handle the session. So today I'm going to talk about malware. So I'm going to talk about the malware. So before starting the session, let me have a brief introduction about the malware. So the hackers will use this malware to do the hacking process, right? So what do you mean by hacking? So let this session be an interactive session. You can use chat box to type your answers. So what does the hacking means? So if you look at the word hacking, it always brings to mind that any illegal access to a secure location is termed as a hacking process, right? But did you know that even hacking can take an ethical twist? So this is about ethical hacking. Ethical hacking is a legal variation of a hacking process. This companies will hire the computer experts to test the system security. So the ethical hackers will be the companies will be hiring the computer expert to test the system security, and they will be identifying the vulnerabilities, and they also provide analysis on how to improve the firewall, and it also a way for government agencies to identify and locate the various potential threats to the national security. So individuals who have permission to hack the computer systems are referred to as an ethical hacker. So they are certified as as an ethical hacker, and they are certified to hack as per the client instruction. After the vulnerabilities are identified, the hackers will be presenting you an maturity scorecard, so which states the level of risk and the number of loopholes in the security, and they will also suggest the improvements. So many believe that there is nothing ethical about hacking. So, however, with this growing of cyber crimes, there is an evident need for an organization and the government organization to ensure that this kind of security is foolproof, and that brings us to importance of this ethical hacking. So, the hackers will be using the various types of malwares to hack the system. So in this session, I'm going to talk in detail about the various malwares, and I'm going to talk about the password attack and how to securely and how this password attack is happening, right? So I'll proceed to my session. So looking back to the introduction about this malware, my voice is clear, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So so what is a virus? So we all know viruses have always been existed, and if we get infected, I mean, if you take the biological virus, I'm talking about biological virus, if we get infected, we will usually get sick, and our bodies work in overdrive to allow us to heal and will to get better. So with assistance in the form of better diets and medication and other remedies and solutions, the we can get out of the virus. Same as that, the computers and other devices can also get sick with a dreaded and a powerful virus. So, though this phenomenon was not always around, so looking back to the history of virus, so the first computer virus was written in the year 1971, and that is named as a creeper system, and that was made by the Professor Bob Thomas at Debian Technology, and he discovered this virus as an experimental self-replicating virus, and they have a capability to multiply by itself and to the point to that will clog the complete hardware until it became completely unstable. So at this time, this was only called as a program that affects the virus, I mean that affects the computer system. But later in the year 1972, after in a science fiction novel called Ben Harley, this term virus was come to existence, right? So these are all the various viruses in the history of cyber forensics. So the various virus name, one of the thing is an I love you virus, and this I love you virus was identified in May 5th, 2000 onwards, and this is like a computer bomb which will be spreading by itself through emails. So with the subject mail, there will be a term called I love you, and then in that mail you will have an attachment letter called love letter for you .text.dbs. So this virus spreads quickly and easily, as it would use a user's mailing list to send the email to your friends and the relatives who would have deemed an attachment safe to open given the familiarity of the sender. So once someone's computer was infected, it would begin to damage it, and it will also overwrite the file, often hiding them. So tens of millions of Windows PCs were affected by this I love you virus. So, and then there was a virus called Melissa virus. I'm making it as a full screen. If I can't see the chat messages. If anything, you can unmute your mic and ask, right? So another kind of virus is a Melissa virus. So before this I love you virus was identified, this Melissa virus came into existence in the year 1999. So like same as that of I love you virus, this would use a mass mailing to send an infected attachment via email. So once the participant opened this virus would disable the various safeguards in Microsoft Word, and then it itself will send the first 50 addresses to the victim's email address. And this Melissa was discovered by the Professor David. So this David from New Jersey identified this virus, and this David was sentenced to 10 years prison for creating this Melissa virus. There are also some other virus named WannaCry, which is identified in the year 2017, and there is also a another kind of virus called CryptoLocker. So this CryptoLocker is another example for ransomware example. So this is another example for ransomware virus. This CryptoLocker lasted in the year 2013. So it will be spreading by itself as like a Trojan virus to email attachments. So this looking at this CryptoLocker is a unique, and it has a device thing that once the files were encrypted after its infection, it was near impossible to have the files decrypted. So, leading to permanently lost the data and files. Those who paid the ransom reported that often their files remains encrypted. So, the success of CryptoLocker led to the clones under a similar name, such as various include crypto wall and crypto locker and torrent locker. These are all the various clones for this crypto locker virus. And this after this crypto locker release, the ransom attack, you might have known about this ransomware attacks, right? So this ransom attacks have become more lethal and rampant after this crypto locker existence, right? So same as that, there are several viruses, namely Conficker, Mydoon, and Shamoon, or some other viruses. So looking back to the history of the viruses, there are several viruses which affects the security features. So since then the new viruses are being created and discovered all time. So it is an important as ever to have a robust cyber security system. So to be cautious and careful and keep our devices up to date. So if these examples are anything to do by the viruses, these viruses are both creative and infectious, and will only continue to get more powerful as times go on. So this is the need to know about the viruses, right? So virus is a kind of a malware. So I'm going to talk about this malware. So malware is like, in short, if you the computer system, network tablets, and mobile devices. You may have often by taking some partial control over the device operation, like same as that of the computer flu, it will be interfering with the normal function. So this malware is like making money, although this malware cannot change the physical hardware of the system or network equipment. So the only thing the malware can do is they can steal, encrypt, or delete the data, and they can also alter or hijack the core computer function, and they can also spy on the computer activity without your knowledge or permission. So this, in short, this malware is a program. Malware is nothing but a program that is designed to gain access to the computer system, normally for the benefit of the third party without the user permissions. So this malware, the various kinds of malware include the viruses, worms, Trojan horse. The viruses, worms, and Trojan horse together combinedly is termed as a malware, right? So there are various types of malware, which means that these viruses, each and everything has their own unique characteristics to spread the illegal thing in the company's data environment, right? So if you look at this virus, so these are all the various types of viruses. Various types of malwares. First and foremost thing is viruses. I have already told about the history about this viruses, right? So what about this virus? So virus is malicious executable code. So this virus can be an executable code that will be attached to the executable file. So executable file will be attached to the the malicious executable code will be attached to the executable file, and this virus will be spreading when an infected file is passed from a system to the system. So when an infected file passed from system to system, this virus will be spreading, and this virus can be harmless, or they can modify the data, or can also delete the data. So if opening a file can trigger the virus, once the program virus is active, it will infect other program on the computer, right? So this is about the virus. In the later slides, I'll be talking about the various types of viruses. And then another kind of malware is the worms. So these worms are like same as that of the virus, but these viruses will be this worms will be replicating themselves on the system. So this worms will be automatically replicating by themselves, by self systems, by attaching themselves to the different files, and also they'll be looking for various pathways between the computers, such as computer network, which will be sharing the common file storage area. And also the worms usually will be slowing down the network. So when it is like replicating, which will be affects the system performance, and also these worms has capabilities to slow down the networks. So if you take virus, if you compare it with the virus, this virus needs a host program to run, but these worms will be running by themselves. So after a worm affects the host, it is able to spread very quickly over the network. So this worms has the capability to spread quickly. And another kind of malware is a spyware. So this spyware is specifically used to steal the private information from a computer system for a third party. So the third party will be hiring a hacker to use this spyware, to steal the private information from a computer system. So this, if you look at the spyware, which will be collecting the information, and they will be sending to the hackers, to the hackers. And then another type of malware is the Trojan horse. So this Trojan horse is also a kind of a malware which will be carrying out a malicious operation, some unwanted operation under the appearance of a desired operation. When you are playing games or online games, this will be activated. So this Trojan horse, if you look at this Trojan horse, this varies from virus, because this Trojan horse, if you look at this Trojan horse, this will be varies from the virus, because the Trojan will be burying itself to the non-executable file, such as if you take image file or audio file, this Trojan horse will be bind to itself. So and then this is also a kind of a malware. The hackers uses these kinds of malware to do the hacking process, right? So then comes the logic bombs. Logic bombs is also a malicious program. This will be, that uses a trigger. So this logic bomb, that will be using a trigger to activate the malicious code. So this kind of logic bombs will be remaining non-functioning. So this will be remaining non-functioning until the trigger event happens. Once it is triggered, once the logic bomb is triggered, which will be implementing the malicious code, hence it is named as bomb. So once it is triggered, then it will implement the malicious code that causes the harms to the computer, right? So the computer security specialist also recently discovered this logic bomb that attack and destroy the hardware components in the workstation or a server. It also affects the server, including cooling fans, hard drives, and power supplies. So this much effect that is caused by this logic bombs. So if you look at this logic bombs will also overdrives the devices, until it is overheat or it will be failing. So next comes the type of malware called ransomware. So many banking attack in the past history, if you look at the banking attack, this has happened because of this ransomware. So what this ransomware will do is, it will be grabbing the computer system or the data it contains until the victim makes a payment. So until the victim making the payment, this will be grabbing the ransomware will be grabs the computer system and data. So what this ransomware will do is will be encrypting the data in the computer with the key which is unknown to the user. So the user has to pay to the some ransom amount to the criminal to retrieve the data. Once the amount is paid, the victim can resume using her system, right? So this is a kind of a banking attack which happens with the ransomware. And then another kind of a malware is a backdoor. So if you look at this backdoor is like bypassing the usual authentication used to access a system. So this will be when using this backdoor, which will be bypassing the normal usual authentication system. So the main purpose of this backdoor, what is the purpose of this backdoor is it will be granting the cyber criminal future access to the system, even if the organization fixes any original vulnerability used to attack the system. This will be obtained by this backdoor, right? And then another kind of malware is a rootkit. So rootkit is also modifies the operating system to make a backdoor, and the attackers can use the backdoor to access the computer distantly, right? So if you look at this rootkits, these rootkits will take the advantage of software vulnerabilities to modify the system files, etc. Right? So, and then last type of malware is a keylogger. So what this keylogger will do is will be recording everything the user type in her or computer system, and they will be obtaining the password and any other sensitive information, and send them to the source of keylogging program. So these are all the various types of malware. Since nowadays online application has become most essential thing, these types of malwares are used for attack by the cyber criminals. So the cyber criminals uses these kinds of malwares to do the hacking process. So right, shall I proceed? Are you all following? Shall I proceed? Am I going fast? Shall I proceed? Yeah, okay. So this is about the various types of malware that the cyber criminals uses to attack the system, right? So as I have already told, there are various types of malware. Each and every types of malware have different varieties. So this is the comparison of, I have told about these types of malwares, right? So this comparison, you can see the comparison between virus, worms, and Trojan horse. These are all the various types of malwares. So as I have already told, these comparison may be used to know the difference between what the virus, worms, and Trojan horse is. So if you look at this virus, same as that, virus is a software which will be connecting to the system. But when comparing with the worms, this worms will be replicating by itself, but this virus won't replicate. This virus will also replicate, but with the computer program it will replicate, but the worms will be replicating by itself. So, and also if you look at this Trojan horse, will be, rather than replicating, this will be capturing the important information about the computer system. So same as that, this virus will also be replicating with the computer program, but the worm will be replicating by itself. So then if you look at this Trojan horse does not replicate itself. And also the virus can't be, these viruses can be controlled by remote, and the worms, when you look at this worms, the worms can be controlled by remote systems. So the worms can be controlled by the remote system. Like worms, these Trojan horse can also be controlled by a remote system. So and then the spreading rate of virus is moderate when compared to the worms and Cronsen's horse. Since these worms has a capacity to replicate by itself, so the spreading capacity is also faster when comparing to the normal virus. And the spreading rate of Trojan horse is slow when comparing to the virus and the worms. So the main objective of the virus is to modify the information, and this worms will be eating the system resources. So that will be decreasing the system performance, and this Trojan horse will be stealing the information, right? And the viruses are executed via executable files, and these worms are executed by weakness in the system, that is where the loopholes that these worms are executed, and the Trojan horse will be executing through a program which will be interrupting the utility software. So this is the slide will be giving you a comparison of the three types of malware, which is virus, worms, and Trojan horse. So I hope you might have understand the comparison of this virus, worms, and Trojan horse. So looking to the, still we have various types of viruses, and each and every virus has its unique thing to perform. So the various types of viruses include, it may be a file virus, boot sector virus, macro virus, source code virus, polymorphic virus. It may be an encrypted virus, stealth virus, tunneling virus, multivariate virus, and armed virus. So these are all the various kinds of viruses that is used by the hacker to hack the system, right? So as I have already told, this virus is a fragment of code, so that will be embedded to a program, right? So these viruses are self-replicating, and it also designed to infect the other program. So they can work in a system, and they can also modify, or it can also destroy the files, causing the system cache, and it also program the malfunction. So there are these are all the various types of viruses. The first and foremost thing is the file virus. So this type of, as the name indicates, that this type of virus infects the system by appending itself to the end of the file. So at the end of the file, the virus will be appending to it by itself, and that will be infecting the other program. So what it will do is, it will changes the start of the program, so that it will control the jumps of this code. So after executing of its code, the control will be returning back to the main program. So its execution is not with this file virus, the execution is not even noticed, and this kind of file virus is also called as a parasite virus, because it leaves no file intact, but also leaves the host functional, but it leaves the host functional, right? So next kind of virus is the boot sector virus. So boot sector virus, which will be infecting the boot sector of the system, and this will be executing every time the system is booted. So every time the system is booted, this boot sector virus will be executed. So executing every time when the system is booted, and before operating system is loaded, it infects other bootable media like floppy disk and all. This will be affected, right? So these are all also known as the memory virus. So file virus is also called as parasite virus. This boot sector virus is also called as a memory virus, and another kind of virus is a macro virus. So unlike this other most kind of viruses, so these macro viruses, which are written in low languages. So other kind of viruses are written with low level languages, but macro viruses are written with high level languages like Visual Basics. This kind of macro viruses are written, and these viruses are triggered when a program is capable of executing a macro run. So example for this macro virus is when a macro virus can be contained in a spreadsheet file. So if you look at this, I mean, next kind of virus is a spreadsheet. This macro virus can be spread. So another kind of virus is a source code virus, and if you look, it looks for a source code and it will modify it to, and this will modify it to include the virus and also helps to spread. Another kind of virus is a polymorphic virus. This virus signature is a pattern that can identify a virus. So in order to avoid any detection by antivirus, a polymorphic virus can change each time when it is installed. So the functionality of the virus will be remaining same, but its signature will be changed. So next kind of virus is an encrypted virus. So encrypted virus. So this, if you have already installed antivirus in your system, this this encrypted virus, in order to avoid detection by the antivirus, this type of virus exists in an encrypted form. So it carries a description algorithm along with it, so that the virus first decrypt it and then it will be executing the code, so that antivirus cannot detect this kind of viruses, right? So another kind of virus is stealth virus. This stealth virus is a very tricky virus. So what this virus will do is it will change the code that can be used to detect it, and this also steals the detection of the virus. This becomes very difficult. So for example, you can change the system read system call such that whenever user asks to read a code, which will be modifying by the virus, and then the original form of code is shown rather than the infected code. So original form of code will be shown at the rather than the infected code. Another kind of virus is a tunneling virus. This tunneling virus, what this virus will do is, will be attempts to bypass the detection of any antivirus scanner by installing itself in the interrupt handler, and then which remains in the background of the operating system, and also catch the viruses and become disabled during the course of tunneling virus. So similar viruses will be installing themselves in the device strips, and then how this is how the tunneling virus will work on. And another kind of virus is a multi-particate virus, and these type of virus is able to infect multiple parts of the system, which may be a boot sector, memory files, or it can be a local files. And this will be this makes too difficult to detect and identify this kind of multivariate virus. And last kind of virus is an R mode virus. This R mode virus is coded to make difficult for antivirus to unravel and understand. So this armed virus or not understandable by the antivirus systems, and it uses a variety of technique to do so. So like fully antivirus to believe that so it is always somewhere else than in a real location. For using some compression to complicate its code, this will be used, right? So these are all the various types of viruses, and each and every viruses has its unique capability to attack the systems, right? So nowadays there are many antiviruses available, and these antiviruses should be handled. This antivirus should be used to handle, I mean, these kind of viruses, right? So next, about the Trojan horse. Another kind of malware is a Trojan horse. So this Trojan horse is also having a variety of types, and these Trojan horse and this Trojan horse is not just a single type of virus. It also varies to its purpose. So the cyber criminal can target a specific person, or can this using this Trojan horse, the cyber criminal can target a specific person. The Trojan horse of his choice everywhere. So this will be listing. This list will make you understand the different types of Trojan horse backdoors, and and it also gives malicious user remote access over the infected computer. And at the end of the session, I'm going to tell about tool. So this tool will be using you to generate your own Trojan horse virus, and how this ProRat, this tool name is called as a ProRat, and this ProRat is a remote administrative tool. I'll show you how it compromised the victim system, right? So these are all the various types of Trojan horses. First one is a kind of Trojan horse is called as a exploit. So what this exploit will do is, so this exploit which contains a data code which will be abusing the vulnerability with an application software. So so the application software, but that is the operating system on your endpoint. So so this exploit will contains the data or code which will be abusing the vulnerability of the application software on our endpoint. So another kind of Trojan horse is a rootkit. So the rootkit, these are designed to hide certain objects or activities in your system. So this rootkit is used to hide the certain objects and other activities in the system, and this can effectively prevent the malicious program being detected. Since it is hiding this, this can effectively prevent malicious program being detected. And another kind of Trojan horse is a Trojan banker. So this Trojan banker, what it will do is, it will its purpose is to steal your account data for online banking system and e-payment system, and for credit card or debit card. This Trojan banker will be stealing the information. Another kind of Trojan horse is Trojan denial of service attack. So these Trojan can start up the denial of service attack. So not only it will affect the endpoint, but also the websites by sending multiple requests from your computer, and they can also, and several other infected computers, it can affect the computer performance. So another kind of type of a Trojan horse is a Trojan downloader. What this Trojan downloader can do is, they will be downloading and install a new version of malicious program on your computer, including Trojan and the adware, right? So these are all about the various types of Trojan horses. And Trojan downloader, what this Trojan downloader will do is, will be downloading and install the new version of malicious program, and will be including the Trojan virus and adware to the existing system. And another kind of Trojan horse is a Trojan dropper. What this Trojan dropper will do is, this Trojan will be like a fake antivirus program. This will be copying the activities of the antivirus software, and they are why this Trojan dropper are created is to extort money from you, and in return they will remove the detection and threat. They will remove the detection and threat removal, even though the threat that they report or do not actually exist. This Trojan dropper will works on. So this Trojan games, game thief, if you are into a gaming, and you know that online gaming can steal cash from the gamers. So the cyber criminals also crafted this Trojan virus which steals user information from the online games. Another kind of a Trojan horse is a Trojan ransom. What this Trojan ransom will do is, this Trojan can change the data on your endpoint. So this can lead to endpoint malfunction, and the cyber criminals will demand a ransom. So cyber criminal will demand the ransom. So they will only replace your computer programs, or it can unblock your data after you paid them. So this another kind of Trojan horse is a Trojan SMS. So this Trojan SMS can change the data on your endpoint, which will be leading to an endpoint malfunction. So this the cyber criminals will demand a ransom, and they will only replace your computer's performance, or they can unblock your data after you have paid them. So what this Trojan SMS will do is, this Trojan can be changed at your endpoint, so that the Trojan can be spread through SMS. And also there are some other Trojans like Trojan Spy and Trojan Mail Finder. And what this Trojan Mail Finder will do is, these will be sending you email address from your endpoint, and they will be tracking the data when you enter into a keyboard, and they will be taking you screenshot or getting a list of running applications in your end. So these are the operations that can be performed by these types of Trojan horse. So this is about the theoretical part of the various types of malwares, like viruses and various types of Trojan horse. Hope you understand the theoretical concept behind these types of viruses and these types of Trojan horse. And what are the ways to secure ourselves from the Trojan horse? So how to protect ourselves from the various types of malwares, and we can how to secure ourselves from the various types of malwares. The question is, these are all the things. So here is a guide to prevent. These are all the steps, or these are all the things you can consider to prevent your system from malware. The first and foremost thing comes to our mind is the antiviruses. So what is antivirus use? I mean, these are all the various types of antivirus available in the market. So you can use the antiviruses to prevent a system from Trojan horse, and the effective antiviruses can alert you when there is any suspicious file at your endpoint. And also you can start using free branded antivirus that is offered over the internet, and the thing is, you should update it. So when the updates are ready, it will update the software for better virus mitigation, and it will avoid any malicious websites. And this danger, I mean, this spread the danger among the community of the internet users. And also, this malicious websites mostly have a pop-up message, so they can trick you. Better stay out of trouble, and you should also ignore any unknown mails. If you should not open the unknown emails. When you receive an email from an unknown sender, you can just ignore them or delete them. And so if you look at the previous history of viruses, the Trojan or any other viruses can take the form of an email attachment also, and making a difficult password. So this difficult passwords can confuse the enemy. So your difficult creative passwords can save you from a big mess. So another kind of way to secure yourself from malware is by using a firewall. So what the firewall will do is, will be monitoring and controlling the various incoming and outgoing network traffic, and it all on a standardized security rule. So this is another protection for your own defense. So if you so in a nutshell, this Trojan horse viruses can act various reset tasks by a cyber criminal, and it is better to know that which Trojan virus might encounter to prepare a security process. So so that the never cyber criminals take advantage of the things you work hard for. So this is about the theoretical part, the first part of the session. So the summary of this summary of the slides, whatever I have talked till now, is I have talked about the what is a malware, why the ethical hackers, how the hackers use these malwares to do the data breaches, and the various types of viruses and various types of Trojan horses available, and what are the operations that is performed with these types of malware. So and the last thing what I have discussed now is how you can securely protect yourself from the various types of malware. So these are all the options available to protect ourselves from the various types of malwares, right? So I mean, shall I proceed? Any doubts till now? So in the next part of the session, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a sequence of steps to create a simple Trojan virus, Trojan horse with a ProRat. So ProRat is a remote administrative tool. So shall I proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So now in the second part of this session, I'll show you a remote administrative tool to compromise a victim system. So the tools, the remote tool I'm going to use here is a ProRat remote administrative tool and a virtual box. Since you can also use any other software that acts as a virtual machine to do the simulation process. So, so in this session, I'm going to create a simple Trojan horse with the ProRat, and I'm going to address it in a sequence of steps. So the first step is you can download the ProRat tool. So this ProRat tool is available in this link. So I can copy the link and paste it in chat box. So this is a ProRat tool. This is a ProRat tool. You can download the ProRat tool from this site. So what this will do is, you can, sorry. So the tools required is a ProRat remote administrative tool, and you also have to involve, install a software that that can act as a virtual machine. This we are going to do in a simulation, for simulation purpose, and you can download the ProRat tool from this, and when extracting the file, it will be asking you a password. For that password, you should type pro. So this will be extracting the ProRat file. So when you open the ProRat file, this will be showing you an icon of a horse. So but if you have already installed any antivirus program, that will be warning you that there is some malicious software inside your system, and you need to perform this task, you need to disable your antivirus program, and you can continue running the ProRat. After now opening the ProRat, you should see an interface like this. So this is the interface of the ProRat environment. So this is the interface. So now you can consider the target system IP address. So what since you are using an simulation purposes, so you can consider your target system IP addresses. So if you look at this remote administrative tool, remote administrative tool have two parts. That is, you should one is the client part, and another one will be the server part. So in attacker machine, so if you look at this in attacker machine, the client part is running, and in the victim machine, we need to run the server part. The concept is clear, right? So if it is a remote administrative, so for every remote administrative tool, you will be having two parts. One is a client part and another one is a server part. So in attacker machine, the client part is running, and in the victim machine, we need to run the server part. So and after executing the server part in the victim machine, it will connect with the client part which is running in the attacker machine. So now we need to create a server part. So for this, here, since we are using a simulation purposes, so now we need to create a server part. So you can have to create a server part. Before creating a server part, you can also create a ProRat Trojan horse by clicking at create. So the create option is here available in here. So click this to create. Click the create button. At the top, you can find a ProRat server. So ProRat user interface, and then you can select the ProRat server item. So you can click this ProRat server item. Now there are some settings like notification. So the notification will be like this, and you can enter the server remote server IP address, and you can if it wants to support any reverse connection, you can give email ID, and these general settings to create a server is noted here. Now after entering it, then the Trojan will be running in the victim's machine, so that is in the server side. So you can also communicate with the victim machine across the network using using your machine with the ProRat software. So this is to be noted. And then after you have to make the general click on various general settings, and at the end of the session I'll be posting these slides in the Google Classroom. You can refer it, and you can follow the sequence of steps to install this ProRat tool in your system, and you can see the changes, right? So then you can click on the general settings button at the left, and you will see it as follows. So these are all the options to create a server, and you can create the then create the product server. Now the notifications and details are shown, and then the general settings. So the server port is that in which the port you want to establish the connection, and then the server password. So that means this password is needed to connect. So this password is needed to connect with the server, and then this is the victim's names and fake error messages. You can also configure your own fake error messages, and then other details are here. You can check and each and every details available here, and you can also bind the server part with the original file, and you can also select the file from the computer for time being, and you can also bind the file. The binding option is also available. You can bind the file, bind the server with the file. When creating a software itself, you can bind the file. The facility for bind with file is also available. Will bind the file with the server. You can also see the useful files such as setup file, another file, and you can also select the checkbox, and you can also select the file, whether it can be an exe file or it can be an scr file based on the extension. And then you can also use a server icon. So as a final step for creating a server, you can also use choose an icon from the list of browser for an icon. You can also use an attractive icon that server can distinguish from the other type of software. So after giving these settings, this will be giving a notification called, "Are you sure to use this IP address for Pro Connective connection?" So this will be, and after giving yes, this will be simulate the server. So this simulate server will be using this Trojan host. So this you can also rename this for social engineering kind of catalog. This means that it has become very easy to execute any thing in the victim machine. For this time being, I'll show you a small thing. If you want to create a message, click on message here. So you can create a message, and the message box, you can create a message box. So in the client machine, you are going to create a message box, and this message box, you can design this message box title as Windows Control Panel, and the message box test as some message box test you can type, and you can so now we are going to, we have already executed the server part in the victim machine. So now we are going to the client part is going to connect with the server part, which is running in the victim machine. So the point here is the victim machine IP address is 192.168.59.130, and the port number is 5110. So I'm using the same port same port and then try to connect with this. So it will ask for the password. So if I put the wrong password, suppose I'm putting like 12345, then it will not connect to the server. Then it will not connect to the server part. So now I can get the correct password, which will authenticate your connection, because we have already made connection with the server. So which will be authenticate your connection, and then you can click on the password. Correct entrance will be completed. So after entering inside the victim machine, you can perform all the types of tasks. So here I have created a message box. So in the victim machine, you can also see the victim machine. The victim machine can see, the server machine can see the client, whatever the message that is sent from the client part. So the client machine has sent a message box to the victim machine. So now you can, when following these types of instruction and messages, you can see victim message in the victim's machine, right? So another option. So you can also perform the various tasks which is available in the client part. So the various PC information, you can also check the PC information, and you can also know about the various system information of the victim system. I mean, of the server machine. You can access the mail address in the registry, and the last visited 25 websites can also be viewed, and the messages you can also, since it is get connected, you can also send any messages to the victim machine. Then you can chat, you can also use the chat, and you can open the chat, and you can also hide the desktop item, and you can also hide start button, hide taskbar, whatever thing you want to do, you can do with this Trojan horse. So this Trojan horse will give you a permission to access the victim system. Here we have used simulation part to simulate the client and server part into the same system. You can run it in. The password is PRO, yeah, Pro. You can download and you can install in your system. Make sure that the system, if it is if a system is antivirus protected, you can't run this ProRat tool. So this is about the ProRat tool, which is used to create a Trojan horse, and this is used to create a too. Then I'm going to talk about this password tracking. So this password, hope you understand about this Trojan horse and how to use the ProRat tool. I'll be posting this presentation in the classroom. You can refer it and you can access the ProRat tool. So next thing I'm going to talk is about password tracking. Shall I proceed with password tracking? So in the password tracking part, I'll be talking about the password authentication and password tracking. So in this third part of the session, we are going to explore with different authentication mechanisms, and we have authentication mechanism, the method to. So these authentication mechanisms or method is a way for you to prove that you are allowed to access something. So so a normal thing, if you will be using a password have been used as a default method for authentication, as long as most of have needed, we'll be using password to protect our computers, and the access will be provided only when the password is correct. So, however, there are, the passwords are not only the authentication mechanism. There are some authentication methods are there. So, the thing is, you can use a bank. I mean, you can your old. I mean, some authentication. There are some authentication methods are there. Number one, something you know, and example is you can use a good password, and you can also use a bank card pin to safeguard the messages, right? So, if to authenticate yourself, you can also use a password, right? Yeah, just a minute. So, so this is about. I mean, I have discussed till now. So the last part of the session, I'm going to talk about password cracking. So another 30 minutes is there. I'll rush up with this password cracking techniques. So this password can be cracked with the various types of attacks called dictionary attack, brute force attack, and hybrid attack, stylable attack, and it may be a rule-based attack. These are all the various types of attacks that are practiced in cryptography and network security to obtain the password, right? So there are some other authentications also available. Some may be using a biometric security mechanism, or they can use a fingerprint scanner, or after swiping the card to improvise the authentication purpose, they can use a fingerprint scanner. And you can also use biometric systems that include a retinal scan in eyes, and other attributes you can also use for authentications. And but ours in this session, I'm going to focus is on password. Um, so in this session, we are going to explain how computer systems have evolved in a way they process your password, and how modern online application do authentication, and why it is important to choose a strong password. And once you finish this session, you will be having a strong knowledge about hashing algorithms. So how password cracking works, and how and what strong the password really means. So what does mean that a strong password? So there are different types of passwords are there. So in early days of a computer, the mainframe's password are stored in a database as a plain text. So when you wanted to sign in, a gatekeeper application would ask you for a password. So it would take whatever you type in and check if it was equal to whatever it has already stored in the database. And if it is true, you were granted access. So as the internet evolved, this and grave malicious hackers started gaining unauthorized access to the system. Once they were in, they could immediately download the plain text password database and have an instant access to all the users' password. And they also developed the system administrator needed to come up with a solution to this problem. And the solution, they came with the password hashing. So this password cracking. This is a kind of a dictionary attack, and this dictionary attack will be using an thousands of word dictionary, and they will be using 10 guesses for a second. This is checking for brute force online attack. Brute force online attack means checking for all the possibilities that the user can use it as a password. So this brute force attack takes 50,000 seconds, that is 14 hours on average. to gain to find your passwords, right? So due to the technical advancement, this is in this. And another way is an hashing technique, and there are many hashing algorithms like SHA1, SHA512, and message digest 5 or algorithms are available to protect your passwords, and they can also use a guessing option. So the password crackers can also use a guessing option. Hmm. Maybe they can guess whether it can be a pet's name or dictionary word in any language, or it can be a automobile license plate number. So the hackers can get access to the password by guessing their personal information. And some people will be using a default password for all the things. So the default password can also be used by the hackers to crack the password. And there is another tool called brute force password hacker. This is the interface for the brute force password cracker. This will be by giving a target system IP address, and you have to mention the type of file, and this will be cracking the this will be cracking your password based on the brute force attacks. So this will be checking you all the possible options available to do the hacking process. So the various types of attacks that can be handled with this is dictionary attack, brute force attack, rainbow table attack, and offline cracking attack, and spidering, and you can guess the attack. These are all the various options for password cracking. And another thing is phishing. It is an important and attractive word is phishing. So this is a technique for most effective and easily executable password cracking technique, which will be generally used to crack the passwords of email accounts and other secret information and sensitive information that is stored in the social networking websites. So how this phishing will work is the attackers will be creating a fake login screen, and they will be sending to the victim, and hoping that the victim will get fooled, and they will be entering you the account name and the password. So they will never give a reply to the message. They will be they use the username and password that is stored in that file. So they will be using to access the account. So these are all the common 10 mistakes common 10 mistakes that is considered by the hacker to attack a system. So you can leave the password blank, or using the password as a password. When these are all the things that is considered as a 10 common mistakes to find the password. So these are all the various password cracking tools. The first and foremost thing is Cain and Abel. This is a Cain and Abel is a password cracking tool for Windows, and another kind of password cracking tool is John the Ripper, and THC Hydra is also a password cracking tool. And these are all the user interface for using this Cain and Abel. This is the password Windows XP password cracking tool. So you can take an administrative priority, and you can use these kind of attacks to obtain the password. And final thing is crypt analysis. So this crypt analysis is for converting the encrypted message into a plain crypt algorithm, and this is the fastest technique for password table. So you can also use it. Crypt analysis can also be done for password cracking. So these are all the various techniques can be used for password cracking, and some of the tips to keep safe your password, right? So, and another thing is some people will be using social engineering concept for they will be creating a fake Gmail login account using the login page using an HTML, and they will be asking you the username and password, and the whatever the username password is given, that will be stored in the form link, and the hackers can use the username and password from it, and they can crack the password, right? So these are all the things that can be considered. I have rushed up this password cracking concept. So at the last part of the session, I'm going to talk about the various research areas that can be considered in the cyber forensics field. So due to the advancement in the cyber forensics field, and due to the improvisation in the computational field, there is a need of ethical hackers. So there is a need for ethical hackers, and there are lots and lots of certification available to do the ethical hacking certification. And the researchers who are like interested to do research in the cyber forensics field can concentrate in these areas. Like the first and foremost thing is rise of automotive hacking. So this means that this is a trend of 2021. So this is going to be the rise of automotive hacking. So nowadays, if you see modern vehicles come packaged with automated software creating tools for connectivity, and maybe for drivers in cruise control, engine timing, door lock, airbags, and advanced systems for driver assistance. These vehicles, if you look at this vehicle, they use Bluetooth and Wi-Fi technologies to communicate, which also opens them to several vulnerabilities and threats to the hackers. So gaining control of the vehicle or using any microphones for eavesdropping is expected to rise in the year 2021 with more use of automated vehicles. So there is also an option for self-driving or autonomous vehicles use, and even further complex mechanisms that require strict cyber security measures. So this may be considered as a problem, and the researchers can work on it to have a better option for this better options for automatic hacking, to avoid automatic hacking. And another research area trending now is integrating artificial intelligence with cyber security. So with artificial intelligence being introduced in all kind of market segments, this technology with a combination of machine learning have brought tremendous changes in cyber security. So if you look at this artificial intelligence, they can be used in building automated security system, natural language processing, and they can also be used in face detection and automatic threat detection. Although it is also being used to develop smart malware and attacks to bypass the latest security protocols in controlling the data. This kind of artificial intelligence enabled threat detection system can predict the new attacks, and they can also notify the admins for any data breach instantly. So this may be a next trend in cyber security field. So another kind of thing the researchers can work on is with mobile. Mobile is the new target. So cyber security trends provide a considerable increase for mobile banking. So nowadays people are using mobile banking, malware or attacks in 2019, making our handheld devices a potential prospect for hackers. So all our photos, financial transactions, emails, and messages possesses more threats to the individuals. Smartphone viruses or malware may capture the attention of cyber security trend in 2021. So there may be an that can be considered as a option. So targeting the hackers may target the mobile phone So some other security options can be considered to protect the data in the mobile phones. And the four things the researcher can work with is cloud. So with more and more organization now establishing the data in the cloud, and the security measures needed to be continuously monitored, and it should be updated, and the data should also be safeguards from the leaks. Although if you take the cloud applications such as Google or Microsoft, they are well equipped with the security mechanism. But still, it's the user end that acts as a significant source for erroneous errors, malicious software, and phishing attacks. So the researchers can work up with an algorithms to work with this cloud. And data breaches is a prime target. So if you look at the data will continue to be a leading concern of any organization around the world. So whether it may be for an individual or organization, safeguarding their digital data is the primary goal. So any minor flaw or a bug in your system, browser, or software is a potential vulnerability for hackers to access the personal information. So this may be considered protecting the data breaches can be considered as a research problem to protect the data. So then it's IoT with 5G network. So this cyber security trend for 2021 is the IoT with 5G networks. So with the 5G network is expected to roll out in this 2020 globally. New era of connectivity will become a reality with the Internet of Things. So this communication between multiple devices also opens them to vulnerabilities from outside influencers and attackers and unknown software bugs. And even the world's most used browser supported by Google Chrome was found to have serious flaws. So this can also be considered as an option for the researchers can work on it. And further thing is automation and integration. So the next kind of security trend is on automation and integration. So with the size of data multiplying every day, it is eminent that automation is integrated. So you can also integrate, or automation is integrated to give more sophisticated control over the information. And you can also have modern hectic work demand also will also pressurize the professionals and engineers to deliver quick and proficient solution, making the automation more valuable than ever. And also the security measurements are also incorporated during the agile process to build more secure software in every aspect. And also a large and complex web application are very further hard to safeguard, making the automation as well as cyber security to be a most important concept for this software development process. So this automation integration also needed a cyber forensics thing to be incorporated into the system. And these are all the various research areas the researchers can work on it to have a safe system. So this is about the session. Do you have any questions?
Fatima ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, session completed.
Session complete. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful session. Next session will start at 11:30. All the participants are requested to join before 10 minutes. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you all. Yeah, thank you. So
Thank you,
if you
ma'am.
have any queries, you can mail it to my mail ID. I can give my mail ID in the chat box. You can mail it. If you have any queries, you can.
Okay, done.
Yes, thank you all. Yeah, thank you, ma'am Sheila Ko. Yeah, thank you, sir. Yeah, thank you, sir. Yeah, thank you so much for your encouraging words. As I am new to this field, I am like um, taking this option to learn about the cyber forensics tools, and thank you so much for this positive feedback. Thank you.
பரவாயில்லையா? நல்லா இருந்துச்சு ஃபாத்திமா.